Welcome back, Feisties. I'm Kelly O'Mara, and I'm here with Katie Zafaris, and today we are joined by the legendary Meredith Kessler. Meredith, before we got on, we were debating how many Ironmans you've done. 69, 79, 80 Ironmans. How many did you actually keep track?
Yeah, 76 finishes. I wish I could say 81, but I've had those dreadful 5 DNFs. Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's a pretty
Yeah.
good percentage of finish to DNF rate
Yeah, I was
for
like,
Ironman.
yeah. Now I'm trying to do the math. That is
Yeah.
pretty good. And you did your 76
Yeah.
finish at Arizona in the fall. It was your final. Is it your final one? Are you
Yeah,
done?
it really is, guys. Here's the deal: is that was like meant to be. I was trying to find, like, it had been in the works for a while. Like, I busted out the second human, and I was like, I'm 47. Those 30-year-olds are getting faster and faster, and like, old lady is like, oh, I'm still producing my better times, but they're just like a level above. And so, it got to the point where, how do I say it gracefully? The risk was more than the reward, financially, physically, emotionally, And so I just knew, and I had set it up. I mean, I knew it was going to happen for probably a year or two. It took my time coming down the mountain, right? But yes, it was my first pro race, right? And so it was fitting that it was my last pro race. And I had raced that race aside from the weekend that I birthed Mac, because I birthed him on November 17th. I remember being in the hospital. I had raced that race almost every running of it. So I want to say like 18 times or something ridiculous, because I raced it as an age grouper as well. So it was just, Tempe's a special place. Is it the most sexiest Ironman out there? No, but it has great camaraderie, and you see your people like 16 times on the run course. So it was fitting. And I got to end it with Dee Dee and Mel McQuaid too. So that was kind of cool. They're my like veterans.
And so you went in knowing like this is your last one. It'd been coming. How did you
Purposely.
decide?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You said it was kind of coming for
Yeah.
a year there. How
Yeah.
did you decide like,
Yeah.
I'm done. This is it. I'm done.
Well, as you can imagine, Ironman's been a huge part of my life for decades, 26 years. I think I graduated from Syracuse and had a midlife crisis at 21. And I was like, I played my scholarship was for field hockey. And I was like, what do you mean? I still have my stick. What is happening next? And that's when I like put myself in an Ironman 2 weeks later and caught the bug. And here I am, 26 years later, 76 Ironmans. But the point is, I was like, I think that I need to celebrate. It was for me. It wasn't about the finish time. It was about the finish. Thanking everybody, like Mike Riley flying in just to call me in the line. Like you can imagine my sobbing I didn't know he was coming. He like surprised me on the run course. He's called me in for almost all 11 Ironman wins and probably half of the 23 half Ironman wins. So like he's been with me for like 20 years. So to have him call me in at the finish was like really, really special. But I thanked people. I mean, don't get me wrong. It still hurts. It's still dreadful no matter what pace you go. But I rode the whole ride with Dee Dee. And then when we got off and ran, I just really took it all in because I wanted to absorb it for that X amount of time. And that was a purposeful decision for sure.
Did you feel like going into that last race, like did you feel already done before you got there, or like were you able to hold off that feeling until you were finished the race?
Katie, are you speaking from personal experience? No, I'm kidding.
I suppose so, but I'm also just interested in the answer.
You know what? Actually, leading up to the race, like a couple weeks prior, I was like, this was a bad decision. I should have just not, do I even need to announce retirement? At the end of the day, who cares? Like, I'm not trying to be weird, but like, who cares? Even now, you guys so kindly asked me to be on this that I just told you. I'm like, I'm kind of boring, guys. I'm not on the race that, you know what I'm saying? But really, like, I leading in, I was like, oh, maybe I made a wrong decision. I should have just never done this. It was less about, less about performance and more about presence for me. And I'm not a selfish person, but that one was for me. I wanted to know that was the last time I was going to go grab my number and the last time I was going to, hug the volunteers or Mike Riley at the finish line and like kind of take in the Ironman crazy culture that is, like being out on the course, people are farting, pooping their pants, don't care. I've seen that 81 times, like don't even care. This is cool. I'm in the mix. And I knew that was the last time I was going to like experience that. And when I finished, I was so happy I made the decision. And Ironman did ask me to speak at the welcome dinner, and what I did was talk about what a classroom Ironman has been for me. And I'm not trying to sound cheesy. Like, dude, I've learned so much from this. Like, I have like a litany of lessons learned that I can honestly, I used it in my professional career, yes, but also as a mom, like to teach to my kids about finishing what you start and like honoring sort of something that's been a huge part of your identity for 2 decades, you know?
I,
Well, and you talked about that your sons are 8 and 3 and a
Yeah.
half. So did they get it at all?
Yeah.
Like this moment for you?
Sure. So it's funny. My 8-year-old Mac, as you all know, traveling with toddlers is like not ideal. But I wanted my youngest son. Mac is 8, and obviously, let's see, I have him at 39. So I was still kind of in my prime. I remember like, I did race Ironman 4 months postpartum with both kids after C-sections. And I was like, can I do this? Or is my uterus going to pop out of my C-section scar? Like, there's been a lot of that. Like, it was scary. And like, there's so much.
Sorry, it
Yeah.
sounds like there's been a lot of uteruses popping out. And I was like, there has not.
Literally. Like now, literally. But I mean, it was such a trippy like experience to go through motherhood while you're racing. And Mac, my oldest, who's, he was been doing that with me for 8 years. So that kid's been to New Zealand like 5 times. He went to kindergarten there for a week while I trained. And
So cool.
so that's like, and Aaron and I, my husband, we have nostalgia about like getting to travel and do all that fun, which we can talk about. But like, it's just such an amazing thing that he got to experience it. He will understand it, the 8-year-old more than the 3.5-year-old. He'll get it later. He'll see some pictures and be like, Mackie gave you your medal at your Ironman. Like, but my 8-year-old really understands it, especially because he's met the Kiwi culture and has all his people there, and he has pen pals there from kindergarten, and so that's really special to me. So I feel grateful that he got to do that. And then half of me is like, Meredith, why couldn't you bust these kids out like 10 years earlier so that they could be 16 now? And I always say, like, dude, we were trying to have kids in our 20s and 30s, and it wasn't producing babies, but it was producing Ironman wins. So we like went that route, Anyway. What can you do?
I don't know. Would a 16-year-old be better? I guess, like, to take to an
I don't know.
Ironman. Maybe,
All
yeah.
seasons of childhood, I'm sure. Obviously, I'm 47. Most of my friends have college kids, and they're like, Mare, let me just tell you something. It doesn't get easier in a nice way. Like, different seasons, right? Yeah.
Sure. I know you always wrote those letters to to your kids, but after every one of the Ironmans with lessons, and you kind of mentioned all these lessons. What are some of the lessons that you?
Absolutely.
Like the top 5. Maybe,
Yeah. You're right.
God, you're really good for it
I
there.
like all this. Well, I think the most one is my token thing. And it's funny. It seems like, as you guys know in the triathlon world, it's like boring to hear like a race report. It's like, and then I swam and hit a buoy, and then the bike was gnarly. I love reading them, but like, I'm sure that gets old, And so I was like, dude, I just need to like keep track of this stuff. And now that I have these humans, maybe they'll like listen to me. So that's what started that. Obviously it was for Mac for, 6 years, and then the last couple of years for crew. But really just like never letting success get to our heads or failures to our heart. That's like number one, is that even Mac now in his baseball games, or if they don't win the basketball, he's like has a moment. And I'm like, this leads me to my other one. If we don't fail, if we don't lose, what is going to drive us to be better? Like, I have failed so many times. I'll continue to fail. And so like trying to teach them that. And of course, also saying finish what you start. Like those DNFs I spoke of, I was not coherent for any of those. Meaning I've walked the Queen K. 3 of those were Kona, for which I've walked the Queen K. 3 of those were Kona. I didn't walk because I crashed in those or I passed out. One was St. George, where I passed out at mile 22, as in 4 miles to go. In second place to Heather Wertel. It was terrible. I don't remember anything though. I woke up in the hospital, and then 6 weeks later, I DNF'd 2 in 6 weeks, Coeur d'Alene, and I passed out because I had done a sodium preload because of what happened to me in St. George, and I was also the Marshmallow Steak Puff Man and passed out. It was like textbook how the sodium hit me, and I was carried off the course. So my point is, if we don't fail, if we don't lose, what's going to drive us to be better? But I also want them to finish what they start. So a lot of those 81 or 76 finishes, I have walked my little buns and the walk of shame on the Queen K and just finish what I start, even if it's 4 hours, 5 hours later than I should be doing. So, but those were harder than any victory for sure. So I think those are three. And then of course, success can happen if we never give up, you know? And so I don't like if I ever were to see Mac, especially cruise different, like quit or just like give up because he's losing, like when he's downstairs playing basketball with his dad and I can hear them kind of rumbling, Dad, you're dancing, you're doing the make it fun dance, you're cheating. I'm just like, dude, no. So those are a few of my favorites, but really has to do with like the gumption to excel and not giving up, finishing what you start, and being okay that it's okay to fail. To fail is to win, I think. Yeah.
You know, I remember one of those, I want to say it was St. George DNFs because I was watching it on TV and they
Yeah.
were following you and then they cut away and they were like, Meredith decided not to finish. And I was like, I don't think that's what happened. I want to be sure.
Yeah, and it's so hard, like when you're coherent, but like there's times like even watching Taylor and Lucy, like they were like gone, you know? I mean, you could say they were coherent, but they're like, trust me, I've been there in the Ironman brain, they were done, you know, and for their health, like, of course I want to teach my kids, if you can move forward and you're not harming your health, there's an asterisk, like finish what you start. But if you're going to hurt yourself more, let's just, like, nobody cares. That's what Ironman says. You care, but it's okay. No one, literally, it'll be like the hot topic for a day and no one cares anymore. They're on to the next thing, you know? Anyway.
That's true.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about, I remember that race because I remember when you, back in the day, Meredith, when you lived here by me
Yeah.
and you were an age grouper and then you decided to start racing pro and we were all like, oh my God, this woman's so good. And and you had a real job before. What made you decide to?
And now that I'm retired, I'm like, oh, should I have kept that one? No, I'm just kidding. No, but wait, before I forget, I wanted to say one more thing because this lesson's important. It was about, and then I'm going to go to that, that the element of balance, but a happy human is a successful athlete. That is my fifth one because you asked, I gave you four, but that's important because I want them to know that if they're not happy doing something that like a sport, maybe they don't want to play. I want them to play basketball, but maybe they don't like it. Okay. Happy human, successful athlete. So that's my take. Onward.
Did you have to learn that one?
Yeah.
Or did you know that one from the start? Or did you hold on to it?
Good question.
From the start,
I feel like, well, it goes to my whole element of the whole brand being balance, and balance is a word that like gets thrown around like chop suey. It's like, what does it mean to be balanced? I am the first to say I'm not an all or nothing person, and honestly, I'm not afraid to say that's why I never had a chance at winning Kona. Like I'm not trying to say that I could, but I never could do that because I didn't want to miss my best friend's kid's birthday party. I didn't miss a wedding. I don't miss those things. So I didn't do that dreadful sacrifice. And that cost me a lot, but I was completely content just being happy at the start line, looking out at the buoys and being like, oh wait, I'm cool. I've got a bachelorette party next weekend. I plan my races around that stuff. And Kona didn't always, luckily, Kona was never good. I would have missed Kona for a wedding. I was never good there. So, and honestly, that is why I chose my life over winning. And I don't want to insinuate that I could have won Kona. I just felt like I couldn't put all my eggs in one basket because I would lose that coveted balance that we all like strive to have. And I'm not saying I did a great job at it, but I feel like I did a good enough job that the same friends I had when I was 5 are still the friends I have now and the friends I've made along the way in high school, college, after college. And that was more important to me than sacrificing all the stuff that because I hear people say that, you know, I'm all the stuff I missed for this race. And then like, I don't feel like I ever had that. And I'm not giving myself props because that also cost me a lot in my career and such. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
I think that resonates a lot with me just because like one of the reasons I retired from triathlon was because it got to having like a family and like, can I do this the way I want to on both sides? And like, I love watching other people do it.
Right.
But for me, it was like,
Yeah. Well, you don't want to miss.
I know I can't be the
Right.
the athlete I wanted to be.
Well, and that's the thing. And like, yeah. And there is the element that like, yeah, you can be an amazing athlete and a mom. Don't get me wrong. That's not it.
Yeah.
It's just that there's certain elements of life, whether you're a mom or not, that you don't want to miss out on. And I did always say the second that my kids had more activities, that's what, to my point where it was truly easier to race when they were babies. Like when you didn't have to parent, they relied on you, you did what you needed. One newborn was like, if I thought that was hard, dude, that was like, no, I mean, that was like no big deal, you know, and it was hard at the time. I'm not devaluing that. It was so hard. My boobs were huge. I didn't know what was going on. You know what I mean? But that was actually easy. And then now, that's to your point, Katie, I retired also because I don't want to miss any games. You know, I don't want to, of Max, or like, I'm not missing. I want to take them to that, or coaches Monday Night League or whatever it is. So it was the right time anyway. I was old as nails, so it's good.
You're like, yeah, time to go. That's what, I feel like we went off somewhere.
I know you were asking me about RBC working. Sorry, I'm the one who deferred you.
Yeah. Right, back in the day, when all the pros still lived in the Bay Area.
Yes, and I was with Matt Dixon and Purple Patch, and I'm still with Matt in some capacity. We just, I loved it because that's how I met. Matt was back in 2000 when I moved to San Francisco after Syracuse, and then then I worked at the Ritz-Carlton. That was hospitality. That was like 24 hours.
Oh boy.
And that's why I moved to California to help open. I started when it was just the GM and I watched it grow from 2 of us to like 400 of us. So that was an experience. I was so young to be in that role. Oh. And actually my now husband and I, we broke up for a year because I was literally, you know, that athlete mindset. I was working all the time. And by the way, I was doing like 6 Ironmans a year, literally just like showing up, doing this race and coming back and having like literally like big compression tights under my skirt, like trying to like, yes, Mr. Smith, I'd be happy to, Mr. Smith. And then like, you know what I mean? So the Ritz taught me a lot though about customer service. Fast forward to I got out of there and then I went into a investment banking job at Royal Bank of Canada, and that was in downtown San Francisco, right next to the studio. I met Matt Dixon, and so I'd go to the classes before. So I'd have workouts, and I'd work all day, and then work out. This was before kids, so like nothing. It was like Aaron, my husband, and I. We got back together. All was good. Blah blah blah, but I remember specifically taking a bird's eye view at my life, because you can't just like win one race in triathlon and suddenly you can just go pro. You're freaking rich, bitch. No, you're not. Let me tell you, you're not. Because that's the thing is I was, you know, making a salary from RBC. I was teaching at Velocity. That was a job. I was coaching athletes. That was a job. And then I was a professional triathlete, right? So you have these 4 little jobs. And then that got to be a little much. Again, no children at this time, not even close. And then I did that the first 1.5, 2 years that I was pro. Took a bird's eye view. I eliminated the 60-hour work week. And I remember just swimming at 9:30 in the morning in the middle of downtown San Francisco. And I was like, this feels wrong. This isn't right. Did I make the right decision? And then it just kind of all unfolded. But I always had those. It wasn't till probably another 3 to 5 years later that I stopped coaching for a bit. I stopped teaching at Velo a bit. I still think I always taught there twice a week. Anyway, so you always were having this income in case, you crashed on your bike and you weren't able to make it to that race. You still had a little income coming. And my husband quit his job. I mean, Aaron went to Harvard and then he he moved to work at Fisher Investments, and he quit, and we traveled the world for 15 years, and he took care of all the sponsors. People are like, you just work out all day for a living? Like, you guys are in the triathlon world. You understand that actually triathlon's a 3-sport sport. You might have 10 to 12 sponsors. That's 10 to 12 invoices, relationships. And Aaron managed all that for me. And that was so nice, just because I don't like asking people for money. So after a race, he'd be like, this is what you owe for Meredith's 3rd place or whatever it is. He managed the contracts. Like, I didn't think about any of that. It's funny now because I'm like the CEO of the house, but like he used to like put salmon on the table and make salad. And I'm like, here you go, guy. The roles reversed a while ago, but I'm just saying, I appreciated that. But again, that was before we had kids, and so we have nostalgia about that. Like, we had our time, didn't we? Here, you changed this poopy diaper? Thanks. Yeah, no. No, so that was really the story. And we lived in San Francisco. Yeah, I think I was pregnant with Mac when we moved to Ohio, and then Aaron got back into his work and way back then, and then I still raced quite a bit. Like
For after, yeah.
well, when I had Mac, it's funny to see it decline though. It was like 12 races a year. Then I had Mac. It was like 10, 8, 8. I had crew. It was like 4, 2.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Then it was like, all right, let's plan that walk down the mountain, and let's get this going. And I'm so glad I did. So thank you for even thinking about that. But it was fun.
That's so. When you moved to Ohio,
Yeah.
Because there used to be, like you said, there used to be a Matt Dixon, Purple Patch Group
Yeah.
out here. You were here. Sarah was here. Chelsea was here for a little bit.
Yes.
Like, there was a ton of people.
Yes.
Jesse was here. And then you left for Ohio.
Yeah.
Sarah
Went to Boulder. I know.
Did it just get too expensive? Is that why everybody left?
Yeah.
We don't have like any pros left here anymore.
No. Yeah, Cal, I was paying $6,000 a month for like this little 1,200 square foot situation. I was like, what is going on? And now, no, and it's funny because we rented for 20 years. We didn't own a home until our 40s. Like we moved to Ohio and we were like, wait, it's a quarter of that? Like, you know what I mean? It's just so different. And Aaron and I are older parents. Like his parents are in their 80s. My parents are in their late 70s. And I really, relish that I still, knock on wood, that they're still hanging in their health. My mom's fought through breast cancer, kidney cancer. I just wanted to be closer to home. I'm very mindful of that, and I recognize the privilege that I still do have my parents, and I know that can be taken away at any point. And so I just wanted to live closer. It made sense financially. Also, spiritually, we did our time in California, and then we went back to our roots. Yeah. And life, honestly, I drive to the grocery store. I park. I get out of the car, and I go in there. There's no, road rage. You know what I mean? It was a little nutty. Got a little nutty. And I lived right across. We did from the ballpark for a lot of years, and then moved to Marin for the last couple of years. My sister's still there, and I go back, and I sort of have really big claustrophobia when I go back because now I've had a little more space. Yeah. But
that's funny.
Also in February when it's, 10 degrees here, she's throwing me the bird. So we're good. Yeah.
I was going to say, I have noticed that Chelsea comes back for camp.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All good.
All right, so I feel like we've dove into the, the retirement and the walk down the mountain, like you keep saying. So, but I find it hard to believe that Meredith Kessler is not going to find some new athletic outlet.
Well,
so what are you doing now?
Well, I signed up for High Rocks, New York yesterday. How could you not? You know what is funny is one of my best friends from growing up. She's a personal trainer in North Carolina. She's in Raleigh, and we're gonna do.
Neighbors.
I know we're gonna do mixed. We're gonna do the girls doubles. The doubles, and then I wanted to get in. So the Ironman athlete in me is like, this is gonna be great. On Thursday, I'm going to do the doubles. Friday, I'm going to do the mixed doubles, trying to get my husband to do that, please. The next day, I'm going to do the individual. This is going to be great. It's my own little triathlon. Yeah. I just thought it would be fun. There's no, strength is a huge, as I got to be an older athlete, strength is a huge part of the whole journey of staying healthy. I mean, I can successfully say that I stayed healthy my entire Ironman career, unless it was, a crash or whatever. I had one hamstring niggle, and Mac cured that. I got the baby blood, and that tendonitis went right away. But yeah, I swear, I thought that would be really fun. I swear one will come to Columbus, Ohio at some point, but they're all around, and I think
There's
it's
one
kind
in
of
Chicago.
Yeah, and it's funny. Most retired triathletes, they need something, so what do? They go to High Rocks. I've seen Seb do it. All these people do it. Yeah. Luke and Beth. I think it's great, and it's just fun. It's an hour. It's you bring running shoes and maybe some chalk. It's sweet. Easy, I'm just kidding. I'm sure it'll be very hard. I need to learn how to do this ski erg situation.
Yeah, I was I feel like there's a bunch of stuff in there.
Yeah.
You gotta practice.
How experienced are you in High Rocks now?
Not, Katie.
Oh, okay.
0%. I can do the wall balls, okay? The wall balls, the burpees, the lunges, the rowing. That's great. The sandbag lunges. I can do 5 of the 9. Here's what I don't have at my gym: the sled push, the sled with the rope, the ski erg, and the other one was farmer's carry. Those 6 I have, those 5 I have. The other 3 I'm going to need to like work on in the next 2 months ish.
You're fine. You have children.
I am fine.
All of those three, I'm like,
those.
those are exactly what you do with a 3.5 and an 8-year-old.
That's right. So I think it'll be fun. And I think actually, if I don't also do the individual, I think just starting as a like a double partner, because the way it works is like of the 100 wall balls, it'll be fun. It'll be like camaraderie. It's like, all right, I got 20, then you do 20. I got the it'll be yeah. So you just have to do 100 collectively. Again, still learning the rules. It's like literally being like someone who's done an Ironman. I'm like, why am I still tinkering with stuff? I've done this 81 times. It's so much tinkering in Ironman. Yeah. Well, I understand it because it's still hard, even though it was easier for me because I've done it so much. But you watch like newbies. That's going to be me in High Rocks. I'm like, now what are we doing next? So in the meeting, I'm going to be that person probably having to take notes. Whereas in an Ironman meeting, I was like, yeah.
I was talking to the World Tri president earlier today, and they're bringing High Rocks like kind of under the World Tri, and they're going to help them like make standardized rules and grow it and get official, and I think hint maybe towards the Olympics.
That'd be really cool.
Be crazy.
This is just my like swan dance. I don't even know what to expect. So I just thought it would be fun, and I like being on a team in college. One thing I didn't like when I left college is that, I was just the technician in triathlon. There's a team around you, right, that helps you get there happy, healthy, with your chi intact. But at the end of the day, I was the one doing it. And I still wish there was like a triathlon team that you could, like in Ironman, like you could like someone swims, someone bikes, someone runs. That would be so fun. Or you have to rotate.
Relays,
I know.
I was like, I feel there are these
I
things.
feel like they need it as like a professional sport. And like one thing I didn't tell you guys is, by the way, I've been trying to get Scott to do, the CEO of Ironman, to do why don't we have masters 45 plus? Sign me up. I'll race till I'm in my 60s. But like
I think they call that age group, right? Like that is
the
age
group.
Right.
I know.
Well,
I know. Because it takes, even coaching athletes, you're like, dude, I can't believe you do this. I've done, but I feel like I've got muscle memory, so maybe I'll come back when I'm like 80 and do one more in New Zealand or something. Yeah.
Well, you do know there's the mixed relay for World Triathlon.
See,
so
I might need to get involved.
Yes, there you go.
There you go. Perfect. You're not filling your days entirely with High Rocks, though.
No. Oh gosh, no.
Okay.
No.
So
what
is Meredith doing these days?
Well, I think it's funny because, and Katie, you're always gonna, when I say train, exercise, heavy exercise, it's been my life for 40 years, right? So everyone's like, they know me. I'm still training. When I say training, exercising a couple hours a day. Like it's in my blood. Like I have chi swims. I lead 2 strength sessions a week with my girls. I teach velocity classes, cycling.
Oh, yeah.
The one that will go the least is the cycling. Actually, I've lost too many training partners outside. The one thing that will go is outdoor riding. Like I won't probably ever ride outside again unless it's like with my kids on a bike path. I love indoor riding. It's great. I take Matt Dixon's class a couple times a week because, again, community we thrive best in. And sure, running. Like, oh, you want to do a half marathon this weekend? Great. I don't mind. Like, I love sport. That's never going to fizzle. But like most retired athletes, I've always coached, as I mentioned, for 20 years. So, but what I wanted to tell you is, coaching triathletes is awesome and runners, but guess what my real target market is? Midlife mavens, okay?
Yes.
Accountability coach. I love that stuff. Is that because I'm a midlife maven and I don't realize like that's hard for some people. They're working moms of 2 to 4, and it's just, you're also their therapist, their scheduler, and you like have it. They're on final surge. They have a plan. They know what they do, and it's just, I love that market. That's fun for me too. So you have like the intense triathletes, and you have the intense midlife mavens who are just trying to be fit and healthy and happy. You know what I mean? So I love doing that. Teaching on velocity. I'm a side hustler, y'all, because I want to be with my kids. I don't want to go right now. I don't want to go back into corporate America because even my 8-year-old's in school all day. My 3.5-year-old has preschool a couple times a week, but he goes with me to the club when I'm doing my workouts, right? In our little neighborhood. And that's so important to us. And what I'm saying is to you is I love side hustling because I have that, like it's on my own time. I cryotherapy still every day for 4 minutes, negative 240. I stand there like a vampire and it brings me joy. And so I bring groups, like local groups. So when I was training and for Ironman, that was huge in my older years because it's been around for 3 years. I literally go every day unless it's closed. It's 6 minutes from my house. Like the boys are like, can we go to Icebox? Because they get their like iPad for like the 4 minutes that I'm in the box. And it's like boots, and that's where I get 2 facials a month. I mean, it's the best. It's like best little recovery haven. But I bring like high school teams there. And then this is a controversial subject, but I've been doing a lot of education on peptides, which is like a big deal. And so I do work for a telehealth company on that, and been learning a lot about that. And then one more little health and wellness I bring content for. So I'm a side hustler, y'all. But I've had that planned for a while. And sometimes even my mom said to me the other day, she was like, do you think it would be better? Because your mind's always going. Like if you went somewhere for like 8 hours and came back, and I like pondered that. And then it was like pretty immediate. I was like, no, because my parents are blue collar workers that have retired and they worked, punched in, punched out, and they've saved their money. And I'm more, Erin's an entrepreneur, but work hustling. I'm more of a hustler. And but sometimes that's not for my benefit because they think that at like noon, can you go to lunch? I'm like, actually, I've got a shit to do. There's pros and cons to working from home or working on your own time and then going somewhere for a set amount of time and leaving. So I'm still finding my balance.
I was curious because you moved by your parents, and like my parents moved by us, and like I dropped the kid off there most days. And then they're like, "Oh, well, do you want to come over? What do you have today?" I was like, "I have work, Mom. I have work today."
Right, because Kelly, you work from home, right? And like they don't, but you're not going to somewhere where you're walking in this big. You're walking into your office and you're like got stuff to do. I know. So I'm still, that's still a work in progress, but it goes back to like, for example, my mom is 2 years cancer free today. And she's like, let's go to lunch. And I was like, I had like 2 calls planned and I didn't even know she had the appointment. I thought it was next week. And so like you recognize that privilege. And so you don't mention it to her. You're just like, move your calls, make it happen. So because I have that flexibility, to do that, I relish in that. It makes me teary thinking about that because I know it can be taken away at any point. Yeah.
That's amazing, though. And I love the term midlife maven. Like, obviously, a lot of our listeners listening right now, I feel like, are in that category, and they're probably like midlife mavens. It made me laugh that you said you're a therapist too. Yeah. I actually always hate it when my coaches wanted to be therapist, but I know lots of people are into it. What kind of question? Like, what kind of therapy are you?
Everything. Like I actually feel like I'm illegally practicing because it's so robust. Okay. I mean, I think I know, and maybe this is my personality. Like there's some coaches who can't, understandably, they're more focused on the science data part. Sure. I'm the first to admit that's great. I care about the data in the moment, and then I really don't give two go. Like, let's work hard, let's do the work. But it goes back to my happy human as a successful athlete, because if they're unhappy, their boyfriend, their partner, their husband did this, and that. I mean, I'm dissecting some shit right now, you guys. It is something else. But like, they're, it might be even deeper. They have, a disease in their family, or like there's like big breakups and then divorce, and you're just like navigating, and you realize with all these like side stories, because I'm on Marco Polo with all of my I don't know if you know that app. Mm-hmm. It's an app that you go to on your own time, and you can leave a voice instead of texting while driving. Like you can be driving and being like, so today, Meredith, my exit, it's like my husband's worst nightmare for me, but I love it because that's how I connect with my athletes and my people and my midlife mavens, because they can tell me, I'm going on HRT today. I just tried the GLP-1 because I need to like focus on my health and wellness. I need to put my mask on first. I mean, the stuff I hear is amazing, and I'm just like there to support. I'm their anchor. Okay. And so, but sometimes by the end of the day, even though I don't go anywhere, but sometimes I'm listening to this while I'm driving, picking my kids up school, I am exhausted by the end of the day. You have a lot of emotion in your head, but I love it at the same time. I'm not complaining about that. I want to be that person for them too, but then I think I'm illegally practicing psychology as well. But I think the athlete in me, though, has a lot of stuff that resonates, just like you two, into life drama that we have. Everyone, you just realize how much stuff everyone goes through and how many waves we all ride as humans. Like the highs are high and the lows are goth, Yeah.
I always felt like massage therapists always got that too. Like they were not just working on like your body.
Yeah.
They were like spew time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then it gets to like, dude, I need a hair highlight. Okay. So tell me what else, like you talk to your hair person, like anything. Yeah. I'm with you.
You're better than me because one of my athletes the other day was like, Katie,
Yeah.
I have a problem. And I was like, oh no. She's like, my hair. And I was like, I'm not the right person for you. Like,
I
can't
love
solve
it.
this problem.
That's okay. Some we can solve, and some we're like, maybe not. But the beauty of Marco Polo, though, is if people are in a different time zone, you come and go to it as you wish. So, and you can see them face to face. And have I had like sobbing Marco Polos before? Yes, but I'm like, take that in, and I'm like, let's work on this and why they didn't get their run swimming or whatever it is. And so we just like dissect that. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I need to go
So-
get.
It's such a huge part of
I know,
it.
but
is.
it's still like foreign. Like I'm like, yeah, it's so foreign to me. I'm always like,
You're better than me, Cal, because you'll be like, let's go. Like, get to the point. Okay, what? And I'm the fluff. I'm the fluff. I admit it. I'm like always the fluff. Just I fluff around too much. It's sometimes that makes me inefficient too. Like on the race course, any of my peers would tell you that. Like I was like I don't know, like the fluff out there. I'd be like, you guys are fighting. Stop. You guys like get along.
Get along.
Stop. You need your wetsuit undone. Great. Let me help you. Like I just that was. Again, I always say this, it was more important for me to be remembered as like Meredith the human than Meredith the athlete. Because a lot of athletes are cutthroat and like, and they're winners. Don't get me wrong. That wasn't my jam,
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, we're going to take a quick break
Okay.
to hear from our partners, and then we'll come back and hear all about Meredith's career.
Hey there. It's Feisty contributor Celine Yeager here to invite you to a strength training retreat we are holding in Atlanta, Georgia, April 17th through the 19th. We had one of these in Albuquerque this past fall, and it was amazing. I have never seen a group of women come together and get under some barbells and honestly just transform before my very eyes. So we knew we had to do it again. This retreat is designed for women of all levels, perfect whether you're new to barbell lifting, refining your technique, or just want to feel more confident under the bar. You get 5 coached strength training sessions focused on the squat, the overhead press, the bench, the deadlift, and lots of hands-on feedback. You also get dedicated Q&A time with coaches and 2 additional educational lunch and learn sessions to support your lifting. It's a space where it's safe to learn and ask questions, no egos, no competition, no body judgment, just a whole lot of learning and a whole lot of fun. I cannot recommend it enough. So come join the team in April. I will put a clickable link in the show notes so you can check it out and sign up now before it fills up.
Knowing which supplements to take and which ones to avoid can be super challenging. That's exactly why Feisty has partnered with Momentous. They built a reputation on a high-trust brand, sourcing the highest quality ingredients and holding themselves to a standard of testing and transparency. Every product is independently certified by NSF for sport or informed sport, meaning it's tested for contaminants, heavy metals, banned substances, and verified for label accuracy. So you always know exactly what you're putting in your body. Momentous has also teamed up with experts in the field to create the Women's 3, a package of iron, calcium, and vitamin D that provides women with their daily health needs. We also love their creatine and magnesium, proven to support your triathlon training. And right now, Momentous is offering Feisties up to 35% off your first order with the promo code FeistyTry. Head to livemomentous.com and use the promo code FeistyTry. That's livemomentous.com and the code FeistyTry, T-R-I, for 35% off on all the supplements that you need.
Let's face it, as much as most of us love being outdoors, sometimes the outdoors doesn't love us. Like when it's 10 degrees below or pouring rain, or sometimes you've got a workout on tap that's just hard to do outdoors. Well, great news. We have partnered with Wahoo to offer you a special deal on the Wahoo Kicker Run, a revolutionary rethink of the traditional treadmill that will convert even the most diehard treadmill haters. I know because I was one. The Kicker Run is engineered to bring outdoor running straight into your home. With a push of a button, you can set up this machine to match your pace automatically, so you can just run, and it automatically adjusts with you instead of the other way around. By far, my favorite feature. It also has terrain simulation, so the deck feels like I'm on hard-packed trails with just enough give but no bounce. There's even a lateral tilt feature which mimics real-world terrain, varying the side-to-side angle to keep your muscles ready for outdoor running. Finally, the Kicker Run has unmatched connectivity. It seamlessly connects to the Wahoo ecosystem and third-party apps, so you can simulate routes from Strava or Zwift. Whether you're a triathlete, a devoted runner, or someone who just loves to stay fit, the Kicker Run is there for you, and honestly, it's just a beautiful machine. We love it, we know you will too, so check this thing out. Click the link in the show notes and use the code Feisty2026, all caps Feisty2026, to get a free Headwind Smart Fan valued at $300 with the purchase of a Wahoo Kicker Run today. I will drop a link in the show notes to make it a snap.
All right, Meredith, I did want to look back at I think I know New Zealand's your favorite race, right? But if you're looking back, what were some of your favorite moments? What really stood out to you?
Awesome. I can easily say that. So one, I am grateful to Ironman because I wouldn't have known about many of these places without it, i.e. Taupo, New Zealand. My top three favorites are, this was another thing. Aside from Taupo, my favorite races are gone. Mont Tremblant, Canada, St. George, Utah, and then Taupo's still there, and I'm very happy it's a Pro Series race. Like, I think that's awesome. But those three. And then, of course, Tempe is one of my favorite, aside from St. George. Again, not the course, the people there. St. George was for the culture and the course, and obviously Taupo and Mont Tremblant, you can't go wrong with those. But those were my favorite, and I relish that we got to be there so many times. Yeah.
So what type of course was your athlete specialty? Like what are those courses like for the not
no salt
maybe I don't
water.
know what
Salt water
I'm not
makes me ill. There's something particularly in the Kona Bay that makes literally, it got so bad that we even thought of taking a sample from the bay and having some marine biologists tell, you know what I mean? Deal with that. So that was really, really important. And so, but we never did. But saltwater makes me sick. Apparently in Auckland, in New Zealand, because New Zealand's good to me. In that bay, I was okay because I had a wetsuit. It was weird. Wetsuit, saltwater, I could deal with for a half Ironman. The others, no. Hilly courses, so that's why I did like St. George a lot. I think that's the trainer rider in me, is that just all that gear grinding you do on a trainer. I don't love hilly run courses because I'm a treadmill runner. I kind of did the flat and faster ones, so I say those were my specialty. Lake swims, hillier courses, flat runs. So, and by the way, in 70 degrees or 50 degrees was my preference as well. The colder, the better. It's the cryotherapy girl in me.
Did you have to practice though the descending, since you did so much riding indoors?
Oh my God, I was terrible at descending. Mel McQuaid understandably would make fun with me because she's so technical. I am not technical. I should have said that, and not a technical course. I remember doing the 2 Olympics I've done, St. Anthony's. We had 67 turns. Oh my gosh. I was like a little schoolgirl, trying to turn. It was terrible. Yes, the good news, as you know, Kel, about being in the Bay Area, descending stints in. So I would, when I'd go outside once a week, let's say, I would descend with Matt. I remember with Tyler Stewart, and she'd just shake her head down the entire mountain because I'd just be
gripping your brakes.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I learned descending in St. George, if it's a straight descent where I can see where I'm going, then I'm good. It's when I can't and I have to do these right-hand turns, that's not great. So I just took my time. If I lost 30 seconds, I then would gear grind to try to get back. Yeah.
That's so
It's
funny.
interesting that you said I would never have thought being on the trainer would like make you more excited for the like hillier
Yeah, I
like
know,
courses.
right? I think with
Yeah.
Matt's class, we did so much low cadence that seemed to work when you're grinding up like Snow Canyon and like those. Because St. George was super hilly. I remember the one time I raced in Germany, like Austria, all those are like really like kind of like steep, but I don't know why that translated out to from the trainer out on the open road. I have no idea. That helped me a little bit. Yeah.
And when you're on the trainer, are you like on Zwift or Matt's
Yeah.
classes or like what are
Yeah.
you watching or
Yeah.
listening? What are you doing?
So I was a promiscuous Swifter. So when I was with Matt, we had 2 to 4 classes a week. So when I was training in San Francisco, fast forward to when I moved to Ohio, all Zwift. And remember, we were on COVID. We were doing literally like people are commentating. Matt Lieto, Sarah True, they're commentating while we're literally avatars and
Yes.
trying to make money in COVID and then going on the treadmill and being on Zoom running. I mean, it's a cool platform. So, and then I was on a Zwift team, Katie. Every Thursday we had Zwift races, like TTs together. So like I could descend the heck out of, I'd super tuck the heck in virtually. I just, yeah. But no, I'm just saying. So it was mostly on Zwift. If I was bored in a workout that I just couldn't do on erg mode, I have an opinion. I think erg's great. Sometimes it's you can't be on it off on the time because there's no erg outside, right?
No.
So, and I have battles with my athletes about this, like get off erg. But at least with like velocity now, there's no erg. You have to gear to do it. But also in Zwift, in the races, like if say you wanted to just, oh, I need to do 20 minutes at a threshold. Well, I can't do that right now by myself. So I'll look at the events and I'll pop myself in like a 20-minute crit and just try to hang. And I make sure to go not in A cat because honestly, you could go in CCAT nowadays and be at threshold because everybody lies about what they're going to do in Zwift. So that was always fun. It was always fun. It was like little stimulation while you're riding and by yourself, or I'd meet friends. We had Discord and we'd meet friends and do a race together. So that was always fun, especially through COVID. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I like when you say Velocity, is that the new Velocity platform? Yeah, I've done that one. I like it.
Yeah. And they've changed it over the years. So it used to be anybody could get on and do any coach's workout. Now it's like per coach. I'm still figuring that all out. But the founder of that went to college with my husband. And so then I told Matt Dixon about it and he has all his Purple Patch people on there. And so there's pockets of like
different coaches
that are on there doing it, and it's really cool because like the coach can see all the data, the athletes, but other people can't see the data, so it's kind of neat. And you can do it. Matt does it out of his studio in San Francisco, but then he has like 60 people online doing it from home like me, so it's kind of neat. Yeah.
Okay. So those are your favorite races.
Yeah.
Was there like besides the last one, was there like a moment that was your favorite out of all of the
Yeah, I have a lot of good moments. I mean, I think, I've lost 2 Ironmans, like the last mile. I think Lindsay Corbin, who I love. And so we had special moments with Lindsay Corbin when we went 1-2, because I think we had both had adversity of sorts, crashes, injuries leading up to the race. And we went 1-2 and Mike Riley brought us in. And there's like a picture of us from that moment in the book. And I think also being at the finish line, right? When you win an Ironman, go back at midnight, as sore as you are, everybody makes it look way easier than it really is. I was terrible. I remember having to run someone down the finish line to make the 12 o'clock cutoff. I honestly thought I was going to die, but she made it. Anyway, moments like that. Also special moments with like my time people like Rachel Joyce and Rinny and Leanda Cave and so many. Jody Swallow, I have so many. But like, I remember Leanda and I in Arizona, and she stopped in the middle of the swim. We were like side by side. And I just remember being like, what are you doing? And she's like, I have a calf cramp. Why are you stopping? Get the out of here. She's like, I'm just like, okay, but are you okay? Like moments like that like you actually care. Or fast forward, I think, a couple weeks prior, we were in Vineman, and she couldn't get her wetsuit off for the life of her. Like she couldn't reach to the dipper, and I was just like trying to get mine off. I'm terrible. And she's like, Mare, sorry, can you help me? And I was like, yeah. zip. But you see how other people, she would do the same for me. You see how like that was so easy to do. It took me 1 second. Like, I don't care. But we laughed because she beat me. And I was like, well, if I wouldn't have done your wetsuit, and like just jokingly, you know. And like there's so many good stories like that. And then there's stories where someone accuse you of like knocking over cups, you know what I mean, on the thing. So you just never like, no, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I remember, yeah, the whatever, Meredith is knocking over her opponent's cup so she gets to the aid station.
Yeah, that was, I worked that out with Heather later, but that was really upsetting to my soul because it's like, I wouldn't do that. If anything, I'd hand you the water. So that was really upsetting, but I got through that. And there was, I mean, I raced for 26 years. There was a lot of drama that ebbed and flowed in the world. So, but yeah, that one hurt. But I feel grateful that the majority, and this was my biggest flex for me, is that I wanted people to feel comfortable when I was on the like course, and I feel like I like made people feel comfortable. I wanted to be like the mom. Honestly, I just wanted to be like the pro mom out on the course. And I felt like that I have that. So I had that. So that's good.
Do you? I know you told us before, and you're not paying as much attention to all the news, but do you try these days more drama or less drama? Than your
Well, I think it's gotten, as I said, I think, you know, the sport got more cutthroat. Sponsorship dollars changed, resources changed. I mean, as you know, a bunch of us started the PTO years ago, and we laugh about it. We're like, well, damn, if we would have been ranked top 10, we would have got this bonus, maternity leave. No, but we kid, but then, I mean, we do kid, but we set up the future of triathlon in the Ironman world for success, and that feels good. But I think the culture has changed, and I'm not too privy anymore. As I was ending, like let's say the last 3 years, I think I wrote a post like, no one speaks out there anymore. And again, that's okay. Like not even, there's the occasional butt taps and stuff of the good. That's great. But I mean, you're telling me this is a 8-hour, 45-minute race. You can't even get out of like a good job. It's like passing someone like and just like head down. And again, that goes back to why I never won Kona, because that's just not in my brain. I'm not going to do that. And that gave me anxiety when people would do that. And then I get pissed. I'm like, I can't believe we can't just have like a quick little chat. But the thing is, I had my people, you know, you had your people that you knew that would be okay with, but that is not there anymore. It's way more cutthroat. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's not supposed to be a negative thing. It's because of sponsorship dollars, it's stressful. Like you got to win. You've got to get top 3. If you get 4th, you're screwed. I hated getting 4th, right? Like you only make what you get from the race. Your sponsors probably don't pay top 4 unless you have it set up for top 5, whatever it is. It's just way different than it used to be. Only the top 10, I'd say, can really make a lucrative living on it. Maybe the top 20. And it's great. The PTO's done a lot to give bonuses to the top 100 or whatever it is. That's awesome. But it's not going to pay all your bills no matter where you live in the world. So it's just a little bit different in that regard, I feel.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm wondering if, because like Katie hasn't raced, I haven't raced in a couple of years. Katie hasn't. I'm like, do people still talk at the start line? Are they still having fun? I don't know.
I feel like
you still had fun.
Like, yeah, I think they're still having fun, but I do think, especially in World Triathlon, like it's pocketed, kind of like Meredith was saying, where pocketed. It's not like everybody. And not everybody on the start line is hoorahing one another, but you have this like group of athletes that typically are the same skill set as your own that you kind of like bond with. I think I don't know really. I see it in the T100 with like. I mean, I think of what was it, the last one with like Lucy Byram in it, and everyone was nice. Really, that was like a huge community support for her. And I think I mentioned it before. I think the Brits are really good at it. I think they're so good at it.
That is so true. Yeah, you're right. And I hope people continue to do that. And I know World Triathlon and Ironman, maybe it's because honestly, I don't expect you guys to do it. You're in like a 2-hour and 50-minute like full gas. We got a little more time out there, Katie.
That's true.
We got a little more time that they could just be like, oh, good job. It takes 2 seconds. Whereas I don't expect you guys to. But 8+ hour races, there's a little little wiggle room, I feel. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even in World Triathlon, you often see people like passing the waters to each other.
Oh, good. I like that.
So
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, are your kids going to do triathlon, Meredith?
They need a
What's the
ball.
word? This is the spotlight question. They need a ball?
No,
Okay.
they need a ball in their hand, like their dad. Football, basketball, baseball, anything that they can throw. Soccer's out. That's with their feet. So running, my husband, I told you I'm trying to get him to do the mixed double high rocks. That's going to take some major flexing. But he has only run however long he played baseball in college. It takes to get from home to base to base to base. So that's going to take some work. So I'm trying to figure out how he'd make a 1K run times 8. So in high rocks, but he's a fast walker. Somehow that mofo gets 10,000 steps a day when he works from home. I'm like, he walks back and forth in the office. Anyway, I would say their interests lie more in team sport. Yeah.
Okay. And just to finish this off, I know you're not super in the weeds on triathlon, but what are you excited about this year?
Yeah.
What are you keeping your eye on?
I have my favorites that I'm still friends with, the Holly Lawrences, Kat Matthews, Jackie Herring. I could keep going. So I watch them and I love watching them, shine and thrive. I love that Ironman New Zealand is the Pro Series race. Usually that race has been around second to Kona, and it's such a special race, and I hate missing it, but I think that it'll be a really exciting race. It's so awesome that the Worlds were just there, for the half recently, and now they're bringing a lot of pros in. Usually, sometimes it was just 10 of us, on the start line, and now to see it be one of the Pro Series race. So of course people are going to go early in the season to do it. So I'm looking forward to watching that, and just seeing the sport continue to the T100s grow and evolve. Mm-hmm. The Ironman doing the Pro Series, Challenge, whatever. All these races happening, and who knows what else comes up where it will shock the system and all that stuff. So I think it'll be a great year. I've literally done 2 Olympics in my whole life, but I do keep tabs on how do they go? Katie, how did you go that fast? I watched you at Alcatraz one time. I didn't know you then. I just go Syracuse. You were at the top of you had just done the stairs. And I was like, go Syracuse. Because that's when I lived there and I went to watch. I never did Alcatraz, by the way. Saltwater. Anyway, so I love seeing that. And I was so impressed by you and all of you that could go that fast under such duress. So well done.
Well, I'm always feel the same way about Ironman. We've talked about it on the podcast before. Yeah. I'm like, oof, nope.
Yeah,
we're trying to convince her. Meredith,
and then when you add in that you do mostly indoor training, I'm like, oof, I really do. You are I know. That's kryptonite for me.
But I people have controversy on this one. I'm like, 2 hours indoors, 4 outdoor. That's what I say to myself. So mentally that helps. Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, I do like that you do that.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Meredith, and for everything and for all the lessons I'm sure people appreciate.
Thank you for having me. I hope I didn't bore anyone to tears, and yes, just thanks for all you two do for the sport, and we really appreciate it. Please know that it doesn't go unnoticed or underappreciated.